they don't automatically become these huge 500,000 strong type throngs. They have to take small steps to get and build up to that kind of crescendo. Are we looking at this when it comes to a movement to keep Champ Bailey here in Denver? I don't know if you caught this, but about 40 people, okay, we're starting slow, about 40 people organized a Champ Bailey rally at Invesco Field at Mile High yesterday. Again, about only 40 people showed up. But Champ got word of it, and on his Facebook page said, maybe this will help. Maybe we can get something done. That quote right there from Champ is meaningful to me because here's the difference between Carmelo Anthony and Champ Bailey. Melo wants to go, and there's just about nothing Nuggets management can do to really change his mind to stay here. Whereas I'm convinced Champ wants to stay, but he's not going to do it for free. The Broncos are still going to have to treat this guy for the player he is and the guy he is. The Broncos have to step up and do what's fair, what the market will pay for Champ. So if Melo leaves, blame Melo. But if Champ leaves, I think you got to blame Broncos management and ownership. You got to blame John Elway. You got to blame Pat Bowlen. And I come back to Bowlen in all of this because all the complaints I've heard from Bronco fans over the last couple of years is how much talent the Broncos have let go. Then how in the world can you let Champ Bailey walk? To me, this is very simple. If you think Champ can still play at a high level, at cornerback, and then safety for the next 4 years, then sign him at whatever the going rate is. This is a no-brainer. The Broncos need loads of new talent. The last thing they can do is get rid of the little remaining talent that they have on the roster right now. Plus, it's not just talent with Champ. It's veteran talent. It's do-it-the-right-way talent. It's lead-by-example talent. This team needs more Champ Baileys, not less. And to not sign him means John Elway thinks he can't play anymore, which I doubt Seven feels that way. John Elway now may be a suit. John Elway now may have to look out for management's dimes, but John Elway understands the value of a Champ Bailey. And he should be able to recognize more than anybody else, better than anybody else, that this is a guy that can still play at a very high level. So it can't be just a football decision. So then what it comes down to is this. Do the Broncos just feel that he's too expensive? If that's the case, then Bronco fans, you really should be torqued off. And your next rally in front of Invesco Field at Mile High should be a lot stronger than just 40 people. Because if Champ Bailey ultimately leaves because the Broncos feel that his price tag is too high, you built Pat Bowlen that new playpen down on I-25 with the express idea that Bowlen needed it. This is what Pat told us now. Go back to when that whole referendum was going on. What was the message from Pat Bowlen? I need this stadium to be able to stay competitive, to be able to put out the kind of money to keep or turn the Broncos into Super Bowl contenders. That was the message. I was here. Most of you listening, you were here. That was the message. This is why I need this. This is why Denver needs this, so that we can stay competitive when it comes to paying out the top salaries to keep the top players here in Bronco uniforms. Going cheap and not paying your best player wasn't part of this deal. The Broncos already went through a season in which they had one of the lowest payrolls in the entire NFL. That can't continue. That was not part of the bargain. We built you that stadium, about 75% of it, because we were told by doing it, we would be investing in the Broncos and making sure that the Broncos would be able to continue to pay out the top dollars. You just came off a season which your payroll was one of the lowest in the NFL, and now you're going to follow up on that by letting your best player go in large part because you feel he's become too expensive? Come on now. That's not part of the deal. That's not what we agreed on. 303-228-1043. If that happens, grab the lanterns, grab the pitchforks, and let's march down on Dove Valley and Invesco and get some answers. 303-228-1043. Total Beverage text line 29588. Jeremiah, you're up next on The Fan. How are you?
I'm doing great, Mike. How about yourself?
Great, thanks.
First-time caller, long-time listener. Great to be on with you.
Appreciate it.
Really been waiting for you guys to start talking about or bringing back the topic of Pat Bowlen strong-arming us into building Invesco. I think that money speaks volumes, and the power of the purse is what we have to control. I think if you're going to be a Broncos fan or a Denver sports fan, you have to put your money where your mouth is and pay for a good product. You know, I think that the Rockies are going the right way. Take your family, spend some money out at Coors Field. But the only way our owners are going to get their minds made up on what we like and what we want here in Denver as winners is by not paying them. And I think that's how we get our teams back.
I've had arguments with some of the listeners out there about, man, you sure are pretty cocky and brazen when it comes to spending somebody else's money. And if it's the Monforts, or if it's Stan Kroenke, or if it's Pat Bowlen, hey, it's their team. They can do whatever the heck they want. No, that's not true at all. This isn't the ultimate private-run business. This is a public trust. Ultimately, if owners are going to succeed with their teams, they need us. They need the fans. So, yeah, it's your name on it, your butt's on the line, but if you own a professional sports franchise, especially in the NFL, life is good for you. Your value for your franchise is up around $1 billion. You have increased the investment that you made in your team 3, 4, 5 times fold. So you do owe it to your fans to go out and conduct business a certain way. You don't just hoard your pennies. You don't just sit around and celebrate and toast deep into the night with champagne how the ledger sheet looks so good for you. You got to put some of that money back into the team. That was always my beef with the Rockies for so long. But it's especially prominent right now when it comes to the Broncos because the Broncos, they're not spending money. They're in a dispute here with Champ Bailey, who may end up leaving in large part because of money. And all I was told a decade ago when we built the new stadium was, we need this stadium so that we can stay competitive. And when you see what's going on with the Broncos right now, it's very easy to be skeptical about that message and sit back and say, you know what it was? It was so that a millionaire could become a billionaire. It was so that he could build this stadium, cash in on it, get all these new revenue streams so that he could line his pockets. But of course you can't come out and say that. Hey, I mean, no way anybody's going to say, I need a new stadium so you can make me richer. So what you do is you play the game, you get the public relations companies that you hire to craft a message for you, and what you come up with is this: I need you to build us a new stadium so we can stay competitive, so we can continue to go after and pay for the best players. What fan isn't going to lap that up? Sounds good, right? But unfortunately right now the Broncos and Pat Bowlen are acting like a franchise that felt all along it was just, how can you make me richer? 303-228. You really want to back up what you said about the stadium? And about how it's all about staying competitive? Go sign Champ Bailey. That'd be a great statement. 303-228-1043. It's Denver Sports Station, Sports Radio 104.3 The Fan.
Denver's